Hey friends, so this is a really cool thing about Angular 2 that a lot of people, a lot of people know about it, but for those who don't, there is, JIT compilation just in time, and there is AOT. Between the two, your source code doesn't change, but the difference is that JIT is great for dev time, and when you're ready to ship your application, you build with AOT, and for free, you see huge performance improvements. So it sort of compiles the application in a way that it doesn't need JIT anymore. So not only do your file sizes become a lot smaller, the performance also goes up by, I've heard numbers like 60%. So that's quite a big deal. If I can improve my application performance by 60% without a recompile, I think that's a big deal. So I'm using Angular CLI for this demo. And the reason I'm using Angular CLI is because, so let's say ng new and let's say ng try. So the reason I'm using Angular CLI is because it has, things like, bundling, minification, tree shaking, all of that built in. So I'm going to be comparing the most possible optimized application without AOT with and the same application with AOT. So you can imagine that if you were to create an application that was not bundled and was not minified, and then you compare it with AOT, you see that you get an amazing amount of performance improvement. So let's wait for these packages to get installed, and it should take just a minute. Okay, so let's go into this application and open it in VS Code. And I just want to quickly show you what the starter application is. It's got, 5 files in it. The spec is just test, so really 4 files. Module, component, and the components HTML and CSS. So my point is, this is a really, really simple application. If you look through the code, it just says app works. I mean, that's basically it. So that's all good, but my point is that as the application gets bigger and more complicated, the value of AOT increases because as if you use AOT, you're going to get faster rendering. So with AOT, the browser will download a pre-compiled version of the application. So think of it this way, that the browser is loading executable code. You also get fewer async requests. So everything, the CSS, HTML, everything is bundled with the application. Now, I'm going to compare a bundled application without AOT and a bundled application with AOT. So you're not going to see that. But still, well, that's a benefit. And the Angular framework size decreases by like almost 50%. So smaller things to download. Of course, the application performance goes up because of that too. And also the AOT compiler will basically check your application to make sure there are no errors, like template errors specifically. So there are problems, you'll find them early. And also, because everything is pre-bundled, so it's also more secure because there is no client-side HTML or JavaScript evaluation, so there's less opportunity for injection attacks. So AOT has a lot of advantages. So I'm going to say ng serve, and this will first serve the application bundled up. Okay, so this is bundled comparing with bundled with and without AOT. So first we said ng serve, and we are going to serve the application without AOT. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch this, and let's go to HTTP localhost 4200. And what I'm going to do is just to make this a fair comparison, let's hit F12 here. Let's go to the network tab, and I'm going to hold this button down, and I'm going to say empty cache and hard reload. So basically I'm forcing it to go to the server and download every single file. So there are no HTTP 3 or 4s. So let's open the snipping tool, and let's go ahead and capture this so we know what sizes to compare with when we try the AOT version. So you see that the vendor.bundle.js, this file was 3.2 megabytes. That's pretty big. Okay, that's good. So now let's come back here, hit Control C, and now I'm going to run the same application with AOT. Let's give it a second. zoom, 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 and 92%, 94, here we go. Okay, so it actually automatically refreshed here, but just to be fair, I'm going to, just like before, empty cache and hard reload. And now let's compare the sizes. And you see over here that if you look at the Angular, the vendor.bundle.js, that's 3.2 megabytes here. And here you see that it is 1.8 megabytes. What a massive difference. Like I'm running everything locally, and even over there, I've saved 10 milliseconds of download time. You can imagine how much of a big deal it is when you start, working on, lower bandwidth connection, mobile apps, etc. And in the main.bundle.js, as you see that that's gone to 11 KB from 10.3 KB, but on larger applications, you'll actually also see that shrink. Not to mention that even at 11 KB, the performance is actually better. So my point is that AOT is totally worth it, and I think you should look into it. Thank you for watching.